In January, we did my annual 31 Days to a More Effective Compliance program where we looked at one thing you could do each day. Well, we're back with the Compliance Tip of the Day. This is the podcast where we bring you daily insights and practical advice on navigating the ever-evolving landscape of compliance requirements. Whether you're a seasoned compliance professional or just starting your journey, my aim in this podcast is to provide you with a bite-sized, actionable tip to help you stay on top of your compliance game. In the chaotic world of 2025 and beyond, compliance will become even more important, and you staying on top of your game will help your company move forward. Today on the Compliance Tip of the Day, we take up one of my favorite topics and something we don't talk enough at all about in compliance, which is super forecasting. In the age of Trump 2, imagine what you could do as a CCO if you could create a team that might dramatically improve your company's compliance and risk forecasting ability. So how can you do this? Well, the concept of super forecasting has been around for some time. Is led by Phil Tetlock and others, and it is a great way for you to think about how you can utilize some of the skills that and tactics that Tetlock has developed for your compliance program. Begin with finding a sweet spot, which is somewhere between predictions that are entirely straightforward and seemingly impossible. Companies should focus on, and compliance professionals should focus on, forecasts that require some data, logic, and analysis. Number 2, train for good judgment. This requires employees to learn the basics in such techniques as probability concepts, the definition of what is predicted, and what is understanding of numerical possibilities. Next is to build the right kind of team. And here, this is something that you may need to go outside of the compliance function on. And the composition of your team should include qualities such as cautiousness, humbleness, open-mindedness, and analytical ability, and good with numbers. In assembling your team, compliance should look for natural forecasters who show an alternative to bias, a knack for sound reasoning, and a respect for data. Then you need to move to something called diverging, evaluating, and converging. A successful team needs to manage these 3 phases: a divergent phase in which the issue, assumptions, and approaches are explored from multiple angles, an evaluation phase which includes time for productive disagreement, and a converging phase where your team would settle on a prediction going forward. Answers to these and other questions can provide insight not only to specific predictions, but the process by which a team can move forward so that it can be replicated and provide an audit trail, i.e. document. Additionally, well-run audits post facto can frame a question or problem that you can utilize on a go-forward basis. Like any innovation, there must be commitment from senior management on moving forward. There must be data available, and that should be available to you as the compliance professional. The keys to success include frequent and precise predictions, measuring the accuracy of prediction and comparability with new world events. It might give a company enough information to make a seemingly risky business move, but the framework you put in place will allow you to manage any risk. But once again, as with any other innovation, senior management must, of course, be supportive. So what are the 3 key takeaways for today's episode? Number 1, talented generalists outperform specialists in making forecasts. Number 2, carefully crafted training can enhance predictive acumen. And finally, number 3, well-run teams outperform individuals. So the mad scientist locked away for 6 months coming out with the forecast that's going to take your company over the top, that really doesn't exist. I hope you've enjoyed this episode, and you'll join me again tomorrow on the Compliance Tip of the Day. This is Tom Fox again. This new podcast, Compliance Tip of the Day, will appear daily. And frankly, it's one of the most requested topics for a podcast that I get on a regular basis. It's going to be short and sweet with one tip with some takeaways that you can utilize to implement into your compliance program. If you've got a question that you would like a tip on, please submit them through our website, and we will use them in an upcoming episode. The compliance tip of the day is a production of the award-winning Compliance Podcast Network. Finally, this podcast contains promotional materials.